Hey everybody, welcome once again to the Wrestling Inc. podcast. I'm Glenn Rubenstein, joined by Chris Callicutt, and today we're going to talk about SmackDown Live for August 1st, 2017. Chris, how's it going, man?
Doing well, Glenn. Hope you are, my friend. Big show last night, so lots to talk about.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So last night opened up with Kevin Owens and AJ Styles. That old angle, their rematch for the U.S. title. Looks like that's going to be going until SummerSlam, but the twist is Shane McMahon as the ref. People expected it to be KO versus Shane at SummerSlam, and now we're getting this instead. Does this reinvigorate your love for this feud, Chris?
Well, all right, so we knew Shane was going to be involved somehow, right? Let me first say that SmackDown started off with a match, not a 15-minute promo segment, and a title match at that. Mm-hmm. So they started hot. I love that. Absolutely love that. And it's a match that some people are starting to get tired of for whatever reason. I'm not one of those guys. I could watch these two wrestle all freaking day, every day, and that's fine because they're two of the best workers in the company. And I think everybody knows that. And I think people have been soured more on the finishes of the matches, not necessarily the matches themselves. And that's sort of my thing is if you do the ref bump once, cool. They did the ref bump again tonight. I thought it was actually pretty nice storytelling to make this a callback and bring Shane McMahon into it. I thought Chioda pulled off his job a lot better than the ref the other night. So I was pretty happy about this result, all things considered. And like I said, I could watch these two go all day.
You know, I think that should be a YouTube series, literally where you cut together all the matches in the feud and someone sits there all day watching the two guys that they say that. Because I would love to actually see that. Like hour 7, if someone's like, you know, and you can't get up and do anything, you don't get access to your phone, you literally have to sit there.
Now, you know, you can't even go get like an energy drink, nothing. No,
you get a Slim Jim and a Mountain Dew, and that's it.
Okay. That's like the typical photographical wrestling fan, or at least that's how society sees it, right?
I don't know why that's the first thing that popped into my head, but yes, the Slim Jim and Mountain Dew.
Personal experience, maybe? No.
You know, I haven't had meat in 21 years. More than 22 years at this point. So yeah, I don't even remember what a Slim Jim tastes like.
That might not even be real meat. We never know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It could be all soy. Crazy, man. So yeah, I thought it was good last night. I think they got to keep it interesting. I want to see Shane get involved in this at SummerSlam. I want this to go somewhere. You know, I can't believe, and I'm not sure if our audience is aware of this. SummerSlam, we got 2 more SmackDowns, and then boom, SummerSlam. Mm-hmm. It's here. Felt like it was so far off.
Yeah. And what did you think of KO's tirade backstage and them actually acknowledging that Mike Chioda made a mistake?
Yeah. I thought that was interesting. I mean, KO was angry last night. I mean, that was loud. It's good to see him animated. I think that's why I was shocked that they took it that far with him and Shane to not make it him and Shane. So I wonder if if him and Shane are going to be at whatever the next SmackDown pay-per-view is after SummerSlam. Because I think
there will be some sort of physical confrontation in the match itself. One would think, that would get a big pop from the crowd if Shane was to do something to KO. But
do refs do big jumps off stuff?
When you're Shane McMahon, probably, or at least use a chair or something. I mean, he's going to get involved in the result somehow because he's the rules maker. So, yeah. I mean, he has the leniency to do that and screw Kevin even more than he already has, essentially. So, I think it's a really good story that has potential for a big moment in the pay-per-view.
I like seeing Daniel Bryan last night in almost a cameo appearance on the show.
No more smacking talk.
No smacking talk on Tout. All those Tout users completely disappointed last night.
You can erase those now.
Do you think Daniel Bryan lost his will to do that, or do you think corporate was like, yeah, one time was cute, buddy, but you're not doing this every week?
Oh, it's got to be The Office. I mean, I think he and Renee would do that every week if they let him, because it seems like that they enjoy working with each other, the dynamic that they had on Talking Smack and Smacking Talk. I think they thoroughly enjoy working with each other. So I think it was definitely The Office saying, that nice attempt. That's cute, but adios.
Yeah. So New Day last night. not there,
or lack thereof. Yep.
there. Which I was for a second, I thought maybe Kofi was doing it. But
They
when the
fooled
Usos
me.
came out, yeah, that was a swerve, man.
I knew it wasn't Big E. I did deduce that. I thought maybe Xavier, maybe Kofi, but no. It was the Usos with a remixed theme of their own. So they're rapping in their own theme, which I thought was a nice twist on their theme. And they came out and did their whole little diss track thing. And I thought they did it very well. These guys are on fire right now.
Yeah, I thought it was a little Okay, so the rap part I'm all in favor of. You know, Samoan rap, it's very Booyah Tribe. It's a reference before your time, Chris. These huge Samoan dudes, like, you know, like in plaid or not plaid, in what's the pattern, you know, with the bandanas. Oh, I forgot what it is. You know, out there rapping, they were hard. So yes, shades of the Booyah Tribe with the Usos last night. But no, I thought the theme song sounded great. Everyone's getting new themes this week. What do you think of Seth Rollins that they just added?
You know what they should do to that? Burn it down.
Burn it down.
But anyways,
that was such a random thing. Like, it was just, could you just yell? We have it on a T-shirt now. Could you just yell it in the middle?
Why not get the band that did the vocal?
Yeah,
it was down straight, right? To actually do lyrics in the entire song, because like CFOs, and they've made some good themes. Don't get me wrong. Like, you know, AJ Styles, Nakamura, all those guys, Bobby Roode. A lot of those are made by CFOs, but a lot of the regular sort of non-important themes, I guess you could say, are pretty much just loops of each other. Like Jim Johnston at least put a little bit of effort in most of his. A lot of his weren't super loopy, but the CFOs is like, oh, let's make something, and then here's another 30 seconds of it for the next 5 minutes. You know, that kind of thing.
I don't know if our other fans do this, but you know, all the themes, not only can you buy them on iTunes, but they're on Apple Music as part of your subscription. They're on Spotify as part of your subscription. So, you know, I make playlists sometimes, like, okay, so I just don't get enough of wrestling, folks, for Wrestling Inc. When it's like, I want to listen to some wrestling themes. Or sometimes I'll get something stuck in my head. So, you know, I was going on Twitter about the Kanellis theme, and that thing, I mean, it's like 5 minutes long, but it's just repeating the same minute 15 again and again and again. So, and I remember live, God, I think it was the Raw after Mania when AJ Styles got the #1 contendership. And so we go off the air, but AJ was going through the audience, like, you know, thanking everyone and stuff. But man, that thing, I still just cannot listen to the AJ Styles theme, because that was on loop for about a good 25 minutes as he walked his way through the arena. A lot of them are just go on forever and ever and ever.
Here's a little minor thing about me. I don't normally download the WWE themes. His is the first one I've downloaded in years.
Farmer strength. Farmer strength.
There you go.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm actually looking forward to when the new Usos theme goes online with the vocals on it, because I want to listen to that more in depth. But I thought with the promo, I thought it was good. I think though, yeah, I mean, not the top 5 of what they've done with the Usos penitentiary gimmick, but still solid, you know, and we'll see how they build that up for SummerSlam.
Absolutely.
Yep. Then the Fashion Files. Oh my God.
There is no mediocre show that they won't parody, Glenn. We're running out of material. Actually, not really. But
actually, the last night, this was better. I don't know if you've been watching the Twin Peaks revival on Showtime. Last night's Fashion Files was better than the new Twin Peaks.
Never really got into the Twin Peaks. So, like, I didn't get as many of the inside jokes that they did. I knew just enough to, like, okay, these guys are freaking smart and they're hilarious. It's just the subtleties, man.
Oh yeah, no, on the Twin Peaks subreddit, people were talking about this last night. I mean, it was deep. They went deep with those references. How on earth? Okay, 1, are they going to pay this off, you think, before SummerSlam? And 2, how on earth do you pay this off in a way that's satisfying with who this mystery tag team is?
No, I don't think the payoff's going to be satisfying. Is it going to be funny? Yeah, probably. But is it going to be disappointing? Also, yes. Because who do you have left, right? I mean, like we sort of guessed Rowan and Harper, maybe, if they make a return, since they've both been off TV for a while. But as much as they've sort of decimated tag teams in the WWE lately, there's not a whole lot to choose from right now.
Yeah. Maybe this leads to a singles feud. Maybe it's Fandango. Maybe it just leads back to Fandango and Breeze in a feud.
I hope not. There's no way they should break those guys up. They're way too hot right now.
I almost think that WWE's in no rush, but I almost think that they're stalling this now because they're like, oh crap, we actually have to get a good payoff for this. Can we get Crime Time back? Can we get the Headbangers? What can we do that's going to make this somehow satisfying? Do
you honestly think that they thought this would get as over as it has?
No. I mean, and exactly. I feel because so you've got two guys that, despite the gimmick, are two of the better workers in the ring, and put on matches that are better than they have any right to be, given the gimmick that they've had now for over a year as a tag team. And I think that Southpaw Wrestling, man, someone in creative was like, these guys, as good as they are in the ring, their real gift is comedy. And we need to give them a showcase for that. And I think they started doing the Fashion Files. When did they start that? It was in May. I think was the first one.
Yeah, it's been running for a while now.
Yeah, I think it was SmackDown in San Jose, because I remember it was there when it was like noon. I was like, why are they parodying Law and Order? So they've been doing this now for 4 months, and it's going better than anyone ever thought it would.
Oh, for sure. And you saw glimpses of both guys in NXT having that personality, and Fandango is Johnny Curtis with all the different weird gimmicks as he's been given over the years, that he's pretty much played them up to the fullest extent. So it's not that the guys aren't talented, it was just they finally got given a chance and they've knocked it out of the park, and I'm honestly really happy for them.
Yeah, I mean, and now they're selling more merch. I mean, they got more merch for them now. You can't just get the Fashion Police shirt, you can get the Fashion Police button-down shirt that they've got there. Look, the WWE believes in you when they give you a piece of merch that is not like a standard thing, like a t-shirt or a hoodie, not something that they've got 20 other designs on. When they give you a custom thing that they had to order specifically for you, they believe in you.
That could be very true, and I'm happy to see it.
Yeah. I don't know. Have you ever done merch, Chris? I've done it both in my music days and at a job, but you got to source stuff, man. That is not a simple undertaking.
No. I've sort of done some merch in the past with a couple of my other jobs, as far as merchandising stores and and that kind of thing. So I've done some buying and selling and whatnot. So you don't just buy blue button-down shirts, just for any old reason.
Yeah, and it's not like a t-shirt, because when you have one t-shirt and you're like, okay, this is a good cut, this is a good style, it's a good thickness, now let's print 50 different designs on it. You got to get samples, all the shirts. Which one do we like the best? Which is the most cost effective? They put in work. Yeah, exactly. See, that they've got that same t-shirt, that they actually, side note about WWE merch, I've noticed they seem to rotate between like 3 different styles of t-shirt. And unfortunately, you never know which one you're going to get when you buy it. I mean, the same shirt.
Whichever one was cheapest for purchase that month, I think.
But you know what I mean? Sometimes there's the thin ones with the water basting. Sometimes you get the ones that feels like you've got a piece of plastic on your chest.
Right.
The print is so thick on it. But yeah, blue button down Fashion Police shirts, folks. They're in the WWE shop. Go check them out. This is as good a time as any to thank sponsor of this episode, DDPY. Diamond Dallas Page, man. Diamond Dallas Page is coming to the UK. He's a WWE Hall of Famer now, which if you've listened to this podcast, and he's celebrating his Hall of Fame induction with the DDP UK Tour in September. This is an inspirational Q&A. How inspirational isn't it? He's going to have you so motivated, you're going to feel like you could run through a brick wall. It actually says that in the copy, folks. That's literally how motivated. Wall. That is how motivated DDP is going to get you. So, he is coming to Glasgow, Manchester, Birmingham, and London for an inspirational Q&A and conversation. If you saw his Hall of Fame speech, you know that you could tell some inspiring stories. You can also experience the DDP Yoga Workshop in Harrogate, Glasgow, Newcastle, Manchester, Birmingham, and London. Go to ddpuktour.com to reserve your spot. Find out all the details. It's going to be great, folks. You've heard us talk about it. These yoga seminars, you're going to get a chance to do DDP yoga. You're going to get to meet Diamond Dallas Page, have some interaction with him, get photos, get some stuff signed. Same thing after his Q&As and inspirational conversations. Great time. DDP is one of the best guys in the business. He spends time with the fans. He talks to you, gets involved. How many people, Chris, you've heard the stories, people that do DDPY, that lose a lot of weight, that turn their life around, boom, next thing you know, or pardon me, I should say, bam, next thing you know, they're getting a call from DDP himself. Congratulating
Absolutely, man. And we've heard even Raj tell the stories. He's been to the workshops in the past, and, you know, he backs up everything you just said. He meets with everybody. He's just a great guy. I mean, if you watch the documentary with, you know, Jake Roberts, Scott Hall, it's my wife is not a wrestling fan. She's casual at best, right? She watched that documentary with me and said, oh my goodness, you know, who's this guy? What did he do? And automatically wanted to know more. So, I mean, Dallas is such a great guy and helps guys in the business too.
Absolutely, man. So speaking of DDP Yoga, get yourself the DDP Yoga Now app, which is used by the likes of Chris Jericho, AJ Styles, Mick Foley, and tons of other WWE superstars who love using DDP Yoga. And this app has everything you need, including over 150 workouts live from the DDPY Performance Center and endless healthy, great tasting cooking shows. Right now, you can get the app and the DVDs for 20% off. To take advantage of the summer sale, go to ddpyoga.com/wrestlinginc. Use the promo code SUMMER17, that's SUMMER17, 20% off the DDP Yoga Now app and the DDPY DVDs. Check them out in the UK. Check out DDP Yoga. Love having them as a sponsor. Absolutely fantastic. I mean, not just product, but fantastic service the Diamond Dallas page is doing, not just for the wrestling community, but for the world, folks. Helping people turn their lives around, get in shape, get healthy, improve their flexibility with DDPY. Thank them for sponsoring the show.
Now, on to the Glenn Rubenstein Invitational, Aiden English versus Sami Zayn.
It was okay.
Now, did you like that English picked up the win here to sort of follow and further the Canelli storyline with Sami?
You know, I'm fine with English. Okay, first off, what was up with English's entrance? Did somebody say to him, like, hey, man, the Hype Bros can't come out and do their match tonight, so you got to fill like 3 minutes extra with your intro? You know, I mean, why? That was so long. And we talked about this. I don't know if you listened the other night. We were talking about this with Elias, right? About how you get heat. And look, anyone can just go out there and just annoy the hell out of people or spout a bunch of expletives or just be bad and have the audience hate them. That is not hard. The challenge is, how do you go out there and get heat in a way that's also entertaining and people appreciate your heelness?
Right, so, and last night I appreciated what he did with the before his last note. Great. I mean, that was a great little nuance, and he's bringing those out a little bit more every week. And I think dropping, and he had plenty of time. But Simon Gotch getting released may have been honestly the best thing to happen to English, because he's beaten Randy Orton technically, Ty Dillinger, and now Sami Zayn in the span of about, what, 6 weeks or so?
Yeah, it's good for his career, but I really think it's the same problem I have with Elias, man. Like, you're on international TV. You're being given this time. Was it, you know, the off-quoted thing, as Matt Morgan said, $1 million a minute is the value of this. So you're going out there in front of the world, Chris. How much effort are you going to put into what you're doing? Your gimmick is that you sing. And so how much effort are you going to put into what you do, especially last night, if they say, hey, man, you got 3 minutes. Make your intro. Go out there, make your entrance. Show the world who you are.
Now, let's play Name Those Tights. Did you recognize the art piece on Aiden English last night? Because I could not figure it out.
I think it was called Cleaning Off Brushes. You know,
okay.
It's
that's the reason I go to our resident expert, ladies and gentlemen.
Or, oops, I spilled some paint. So I thought the match itself was fine. They're building up Sami versus, I mean, is having to make the pre-show, Sami versus Mike Kanellis at SummerSlam. We already got like 12 expected matches.
Oh yeah, it's loaded already, and they've still got 2 more weeks. I mean, we'll get to this in a minute, but they just put hey, let's put this together with another match here in a moment. But no, this is pre-show at best, even if it makes the card.
Sorry, in our chat room, Timothy Smith, I just don't care about any of this.
Moving on.
Yeah. No, it was okay. I mean, good for English. Look, what are they doing with English? So this is going to give him some momentum going into his next pre-show match with These kickoffs.
Yeah, no kidding.
Ty Dillinger. I mean, and Sam so the Canelos, like Mike and Maria, you have one line out there last night, and Maria's line reading about loving that he lost. That like the timing on that was even off. It was like you get to come out there and deliver like the punchline. It was just like,
and there was nothing behind it. I mean, it fits the character. I get why they did it, but moving on. Seriously, this time.
You know, I like that theme song. That theme song is growing on me in an anti, like, this is so terrible, but I can't get it out of my head sort of way. Sammy deserves better. Aiden has potential to deserve better. Okay, tag team time for the women's division. Natalya and Carmella versus Naomi and Becky Lynch. What'd you think?
Here's my it's expert recap. It was fine.
Yeah,
because I mean, this really didn't do anything to further the Tamina Lana thing. You know, since they weren't on television tonight, I think they had one of those backstage exclusives after the show or something of that nature. But they were not on the show, and this just sort of highlighted the girls in the match, and it was not bad by any means. The wrestling was fine.
I like Naomi with the sliding slap. Even with Carmella not selling it properly, that was still a great move.
And then what? Carmella tagged herself in, correct?
Something like that.
So I mean, it built some heat there between Natty and Carmella with, you know, the potential cash in, and she's the #1 contender. I mean, there was some nice nuanced storytelling in this if you look deep into it. But right now, if you just have a women's tag match, a lot of people just tune out. And it's a shame that they really didn't, I guess, come out and say that the whole Becky Lynch, Chris Cyborg thing, they didn't really come out and say anything of that nature. So I don't guess that's happening.
Yes, on social media, do you think they went rogue in how they've been playing up like there's going to be something between them?
Well, you know, the 4 horsewomen of MMA and the ones of WWE kind of had a little face-off at the Mae Young Classic. Yeah.
When's that air? When's that start airing?
August 28th, I believe.
So maybe not SummerSlam. Maybe
so it might kick off something right after, or they might, you know, have a little confrontation at SummerSlam to promote the Mae Young Classic or something like that. So I mean, there's different ways that you could pull that off for sure. But this was a good time filler tag match. It got some things accomplished, but you know, nothing special.
Did you? Side note: are you on the WWE Fan Council? Do you get those surveys?
I do not.
So apparently, in the last survey, they asked a lot of questions about: have you watched Glow? What did you think of Glow? How good do you think Glow was? So I'm wondering if the WWE is thinking about doing something there, maybe.
Yeah,
bringing Karma back for a one-off.
Right, and I think on that same survey they had, who would you like? You know, basically a list of indie wrestlers again, and who would you like to see in WWE? Or I can't remember how they phrased it.
I wrote in Matt Morgan and Dalton Castle. So we're not checkboxes.
That's quite the dynamic duo.
That should be a tag team. Could you imagine that?
Oh dear God!
If you think Matt has a low tolerance for me, I want Matt Morgan and Dalton Castle together in a tag team. That would be fan-frickin-tastic.
Matt could hold Dalton's boys on his arms like this. I mean, literally, he could bring them into the ring. Oh my God.
Yeah. No, people actually know I'm not on the fan council. Someone posted the
sure you're not.
Survey.
Right.
And if I were, I couldn't confirm it. There's like 100,000 people on that thing because those things leak out. They have been for years.
Oh yeah.
Every survey, someone's screenshotting and posting on Twitter. So yeah, the tag thing. Look, Naomi and Becky Lynch won. I think Carmella's going to cash in at SummerSlam, or else that Natalya and Naomi match is going to be on the pre-show. And it's no disrespect to either of them. It's just that SummerSlam is ridiculously stacked with matches. And we'll talk about what's going on with the Raw brand after we get done recapping this. So Jinder backstage talking about he's gonna be in his skybox. Then we had Rusev versus Chad Gable. What a
bonus!
Match. Yeah,
bonus.
I mean, it's just really, really good,
dude. Gable did like holding float over belly to belly suplexes on a 260-pound guy.
And that moonsault
with ease
and the moonsault. Oh my God,
thing of beauty. Now, and the ankle lock. Like, there was so much storytelling in this match. Like, ooh, your dad's Kurt Angle. Here, I'm going to do all of his moves. I mean, this was just, he was pretty much using Angle's moveset minus the Angle Slam. And why the Angle Slam is not Jason Jordan's finish at this point, I have no freaking clue. That's beside the point. But no, this shows you how good that Gable really is. He doesn't really need to talk. He came down there with a purpose. He wrestled his way to being over. And he looked amazing. Rusev made him look amazing. And in the process, Rusev looked really good toward the end, too. I mean, they both got their stuff in. This was a treat to watch.
The only complaint I have is that this was used to springboard Rusev versus Randy Orton at SummerSlam, a match that nobody was asking for.
Nope.
And I think
not a soul.
This will be solid at best, but given everything else at SummerSlam, it will be overshadowed. That's my
It's a 7-minute card filler to get those two guys a check on a big pay-per-view. I really don't think it's going to be over 10 minutes. It almost can't be. Unless Rusev comes out in a freaking tank again. That's about all we can do. But I don't see that happening indoors in the Barclays Center. So,
yeah, Gable, man, they got to give him something. They gotta go someplace with this kid. I mean, in fact, I feel like with Jason Jordan is a really good wrestler, but being paired with Chad Gable completely upstaged him, completely overshadowed how good Jason Jordan can be. So now that they're separate, it's time for them both to shine, you know?
Yep. And we got a couple of guys in the chat saying Team Jordan versus Team Gable at like a future event or maybe Survivor Series or something like that. That could be something if they really wanted to go there, but
they got to build them up to bring it back.
Right. I mean, that's a cross-branded thing if you have to do that. So, I mean, Survivor Series, is that a cross-branded thing?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, technically it could happen. So,
could.
What'd you think of Jason Jordan's theme Monday?
So we were talking about this with Matt about when you're in the WWE, how soon do you know your theme? And I think it was Dean Ambrose said he never even heard his theme until he walked out there and they just started playing it. But Matt was saying that the Matt Morgan's original theme music was used as like a stock music track previously on an ECW DVD that WWE put out. So I feel like you get one of two things. Either the CFO reaches into their bag of premium tracks for you or stuff they're working on, or they write something for you custom, or you get something from the Jim Johnston reject pile that's create a wrestler music from WWE 2K15. And with Jordan, I feel like it's the latter. You know, I mean, good on Angle on Gable for getting to keep the American Alpha theme. The American Alpha theme is tight.
It's kind of nice. But yeah, I guess he won that in the divorce. So I was glad to see it was still held on to because it's a good little theme.
Yeah, very similar to Apollo Crews', just in sort of feel, you know, like they just came up with a good loop, but it is exactly what it needs to be. So with Jordan, yeah, I hope they give him something a little better going forward. But it's tough to top that though. American Alpha for an instrumental theme in that style, I mean, that's as good as it can be. But yeah, so Rusev last night, Rusev looks great, by the way. I'm glad they're giving him something. Randy Orton, though, is
who did he tick off though? Because he like this is the Legends. He's getting killed by the Legends, not to get on Orton's former gimmick, but come back, get beat clean by Cena, come back, probably get beat clean by Orton. Like, did the Nashville Predators hockey team really get him that much heat? Like, did the Stanley Cup playoffs just, okay, Rusev, you're not going to be back this week. Fine. You're going to be fed to the two guys that really don't ever need a win, but they're going to beat you anyway.
No, Rusev got, or Jinder got Rusev's spot, I think is what happened.
They just traded feuds. Really? You think?
No, absolutely. And so it's like, hey,
and it's
Randy,
the same exact feud. Really?
Kinda. Rusev doesn't seem to care about America's intolerance.
Yeah, not as much intolerance. He's not a social warrior by any means. He just doesn't like them.
Is Jinder really a social warrior?
Tonight's promo almost felt like it.
How's that going to work against Nakamura?
Yeah,
people don't like me because you don't value diversity.
They have to go to another card to play.
You don't like me because I don't speak good English? Well, compared to this guy,
well,
yeah. Let me tell you. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I don't know how they're going to tell that story. Well, so that's a good segue into the main event. Nakamura beat John Cena. They swerved us, folks. Everyone thought, oh, Cena's going to win this. Nakamura's going to get his first big loss. It's going to set up Cena versus Jinder at SummerSlam. Cena might put Jinder over. You know, then Wrestling Inc. had the exclusive the other night because Cena's going to Raw. It all made sense, right? But nope. Nakamura beats John Cena last night, dropped him on his neck.
Yeah, that was tough to watch.
Painful bump. Aside from that, great match, especially considering by everyone's account, this was completely on the fly. Both Nakamura and Cena are guys that can call it as they go. And for that, pretty darn good. Coming out of this, Nakamura versus Jinder Mahal for the for the World Heavyweight Championship, the OG WWE Championship at SummerSlam, and now speculation because on WWE.com on the YouTube, Baron Corbin came out and beat both Cena and Nakamura down. That's going to be Cena versus Baron Corbin.
Yep, and then Cena miraculously recovered. He's never done that before, by the way. And AA Corbin through the announce table. Yeah. So did not know if you knew that wrinkle or not. But yeah, they basically, I don't know if they went long with the regular show, but they showed that on the intro feed to 205 Live. That's where I saw that. So, but the match itself here, yes, it was a dream match. It didn't get started until like 9:46 or something like that. So it wasn't going to be a 30-minute classic. I didn't really expect it to be, but for the 10 minutes that they got, I thought they did pretty well. I still think they have some tricks left in the old bag there for a future encounter if the need arises. But my biggest thing is they made Nakamura by pretty much no selling two AAs. Yeah. Like literally no selling the second AA. And pretty much dropped him on his noggin. And then, the Kinshasa made the 1, 2, 3. And I don't know if you noticed this or not, Glenn. After the match, when they were sort of interacting, going for the respect spot, Nakamura said, "I'm sorry." Yeah. And Cena said, "Oh, don't be sorry, buddy. No worries, no problem." Yeah. I thought that was a nice touch, but Cena put him over hard. It was a good match. It didn't really feel like an official passing of the torch at all, but they wanted to officially make Nakamura. And this gives Cena a direction to go to Corbin, which is not a match that I would really love to see, honestly. But again, Cena's record at SummerSlam is awful. If you go back and look at history, I'm pretty sure he has a losing record at SummerSlam, so I wouldn't be surprised of him losing to Corbin to put over another young talent. Yeah. And for those who say, Cena never puts anybody over, hush. Stop it. Stop it.
Nakamura looked great last night. Cena did a very good job. Corbin, I mean, you think he's going to get the title when he cashes in, or do you think he's going to be one of the rare ones to lose?
No, he'll get it. And this, by putting him in a match with Cena, it makes it less likely, I think, maybe for him to cash in at SummerSlam. It's looking more like the women's title might be the one that is ahead in the ranking of being cashed in. But one of them, I think, has to be cashed in that night. I'm just not sure which at this point, by the way that they've kind of shuffled the deck a little bit after last night.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see how they build it. Man, I wish we had Talking Smack still.
I mean, we're just as entertaining, right? Right.
Well, no, because I think with especially Cena versus Corbin, since there's been no build up to that whatsoever. I mean, they're just going to do the stock thing. Cena's going to come out, confront Corbin in the ring. Cena's going to do that thing where he goes between, half talking like Mark Wahlberg, half talking like Colonel Sanders, Foghorn Leghorn. And get, somehow he's Southern, but street folks. I don't know how that works. And he's going to get in Corbin's face, talk to him about respect, blah, blah, blah. I mean, would be beneficial to move this.
And it's weird because if they go with this same dynamic of Corbin's saying that I'm here all the time, I'm here at all the house shows, I'm going to work every night, and it almost seems like it's so much reverse psychology with that style of feud, because it makes Cena seem like a jerk and Corbin to seem like the babyface because, oh, I am here working every night. I'm earning my paycheck, this, that, and the other. It's just a weird dynamic that they go with there. And it, and as we found out with like the Fatal 4-Way on the Raw side, and there really is no true, clean cut babyface and dastardly heel anymore. There's just a lot of gray area and blurred lines.
Yeah, but with Corbin though, he's not quite cool. He's not likable.
Oh, he's just as much of a heel as anybody.
Yeah, but in kind of a weird way. He's like a heel that's occasionally you go, well, that was funny, or that was a good line, or you know. Yeah, he's a little more old school than the current model. Which is
a nice little twist to have in a character. We don't get to see it that often.
Yeah, I think as Matt Morgan says there, you just got to change his haircut, do something a little different.
Yeah. But now, on Matt's defense, I think he's called Corbin a sort of a fat slob in the past.
Yeah, and
but Corbin's actually lost a ton of weight. Like if you saw him when he first got to NXT, he was kind of chubby, but he looks fantastic now. I mean, he's worked hard to get in the shape that he's in,
and he carries himself very well. He looks like he belongs there now in terms of his stature. So I think, I think he has a lot of potential. But I still think the ceiling is kind of low on him. I don't see him as top heel in the company. I think he's I think he's a great secondary heel at best.
Oh, that's a good spot for him. And guys, as we transition away from SmackDown, if you want to submit some questions in the chat, we'll answer a few before we leave as well.
Absolutely. So Raw, Bayley, the other night, on this very podcast, we're talking about predictions for Bayley versus Alexa at SummerSlam. How are they going to get Sasha into the mix here? Now, I was mentioning I was watching the classic Jean-Claude Van Damme film Bloodsport 2 weeks ago, and I was thinking about Ogre from Revenge of the Nerds, how in the movie, he gets beat down, injured, and then it's very much Frank Dukes, Jean-Claude Van Damme has to go in there and avenge his friend. And I was saying, I bet you with Bayley, they pull some sort of injury angle. Sasha Banks steps in, takes Bayley's spot, and ends up winning the title at SummerSlam. Apparently, it's not a work. Apparently, Bayley might be legit injured and have to sit out SummerSlam.
Right. That bump looked off to me because it wasn't the typical swing and a miss on an elbow drop that you would see because Bayley just didn't pop up. And if they already had the match laid out where Nia was going to go for the elbow drop and she came up empty because Bayley looked to be, legitimately hurt. So that was kind of like a rookie move on Nia's part to go ahead and continue the elbow drop because it was laid out. But it makes me think the injury is much more legit. It's not a work. Is it going to get Sasha into the title picture? Probably. Maybe even just to add it as a triple threat and do an official turn just to take some actual work rate off of Bayley in the match. So we'll see how they play it in the next couple of weeks. I think just looking at the post here and the different news that has been brought in, there was a lot of swelling on Monday after the show, and they couldn't really do any diagnostic testing or anything like that. So they're going to give it a week and re-examine the injury and see exactly how bad it is and what her timetable may be, but no conclusive information as of right now.
Yeah. Crazy, man. It's crazy. What are they going to do? How's it going to work?
I mean, the easiest thing would just to be input Sasha. If they were going to do that, I wish they would have done a turn angle with Sasha and Bayley. It just seems like an easy fit because Sasha and Alexa seem to have some actual heat. Now, we don't know how real it is, but they almost seem like they don't actually like each other all that much. So could that make for a good match, a good little pairing to see if the shots might be a little stiffer in that match than they would otherwise. So it could be fun either way, but it'll be interesting to see which way they proceed.
Yeah, man. It'll be here before we know it.
Yep, and I know I wasn't on Monday, so what did you think of WWE sort of fueling the UFC and John Bones Jones rumors with Brock Lesnar and making it into a storyline?
You know, I don't think that's even the reason why they put Brock leaving the WWE as a stip in that fatal four-way. I think, and this is the next thing, you know, I like to talk about story-wise. I think it ties into what Meltzer said about all the cutbacks, and the WWE's got to save some money to be profitable. So they're probably thinking, man, if Brock wants to ride out his current contract and not renew, we can save X millions of dollars for our fiscal year, be a bit more profitable, in addition to cutting pyro, in addition to canceling our beloved Talking Smack, getting rid of the beloved Edge and Christian show,
and Purple Ropes.
Yeah, not doing the R-Truth game show, not spending money on purple duct tape to do those purple ropes on the cruiserweights. I think Brock and 205 Live are going to be the next budget casualties for the WWE, a company that is profitable, but just needs to be more profitable to meet their projections for investors.
Well, to that extent, though, Brock, is he not too big of a draw to just cut ties with? I mean, he's one of your box office attractions right now, and I think will be probably for another 5 years as long as he stays in good shape.
I think they've looked at the numbers and they've said, you know what, maybe we got Cena back. Cena's going to Raw, which is where Brock has been. Cena does enough of a boost. SmackDown live shows will keep playing secondary markets or the smaller markets where they can draw in more people. I think they did the math, and I think that the math says they still come out ahead without Brock.
That could very well be possible. But Heyman also said he was gone too. So that would
that's another $1 million saved.
Well, touche. But a very creative mind that I wish they would put on the creative team. Yeah. To do something with.
He doesn't have any input. He just shows up and
I know. But
goes out there. Get rid of Brock and Heyman and bring me back Talking Smack and Edge and Christian. That's what I say.
Yeah, because Edge and Christian had already taped some of season 2, right?
Yeah. R-Truth game show, man. There was a pilot. It'll never see the light of day. Not going forward. Crazy. Bring back Swerved.
Yep. But I guess just talking about the timing of the whole Brock Lesnar thing, what is this, like a 6-month holdout for the testing pool for USADA. So if you go by the current timeline, like people are saying, well, they can do some sort of stipulation to where they can still have a fight in 2017. By all understanding on my account, I don't think that's possible. I think you get Brock another appearance at the Royal Rumble, and his contract runs through Mania. So that's 2 big events that he probably will be at. I'm not sure how many dates he has left, but that's 2 big events that you probably need him on the card in some instance. It's just, I don't think he can. It'll be interesting to see how they let him train for his UFC match and what his dates are going to be and how much physicality he actually does when he's in the ring.
Yeah.
Because obviously UFC wants to protect him for their match, and WWE still wants him for the ratings and the box office draw. So I don't foresee the match with John Jones happening until probably early summer, midsummer of 2018. I think if the timeline's going, I think it's like 10 or 11 months that he has to wait if you go by what's laid out with the USADA and whatnot.
Yeah. I don't think Brock would mind having a little time off.
Oh, I'm sure he would.
Spend time on the farm,
there's fields to mow, there's deer to shoot, that kind of thing.
Absolutely. Shoot, he just goes out there with his bare hands.
That's true, and he can probably run them down. That's the sad part.
Yeah. Cool, man. So what else do we got before we take it home here?
Let's see. Any good questions in the chat here?
Update. I'm contemplating watching the terrible Shawn Michaels movie with Willie Nelson.
Don't do this to yourself, Glenn.
We talked about it the other night, and I was like, I'm not going to watch it. And the guy's like, you're going to watch it. And then after like a minute of ribbing, I was like, well, now I feel like I kind of have to watch it. It looks really awful. It looks and again, this is coming from a guy that watched 6 Police Academy movies this past weekend
and 5 Marine movies. 1,
3, and 4. 1 and 3 are 1 is like a MacGruber-esque parody at this point. 3 is a solid little B, late night cable action movie. I think 4 is okay. 5, I didn't want to spoil it when it came out, but Maurice is in it for a scene and she dies.
Oh, no.
Yeah. But if you want to see Bo Dallas act his ass off, watch the Marine 5.
I think we were supposed to preface that with spoiler alert.
Spoiler, yeah.
But anyways, a good question here from Jacko Bean 14 in the chat. John Cena versus Baron Corbin for the Money in the Bank contract at SummerSlam. Cena wins the contract off Corbin and cashes it in as a free agent for the winner of the Universal title. That's thoughtful.
I don't see it.
No?
Maybe. That's a very complicated. Granted, it's WWE. Things don't have to make sense or be linear, but yeah. It'd be funny. Raj and Matt would love this if, like, we predicted that Samoa Joe is going over and winning at SummerSlam. Samoa Joe wins the 4-way. Cena cashes it in, and
oh boy,
Samoa Joe and Vince McMahon just laughs at our tears.
Oh man, let's see. There was one more good one. Do you think they would let both briefcases be cashed in on the same pay-per-view?
That seems like really, really, really a waste.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I think Carmella cashes in because it's the first women's Money in the Bank. It's SummerSlam. You're gonna get a lot of lapsed fans that are watching. That Carmella cashing in will do more to pique interest and get some buzz going than Corbin. Corbin's cash in is not going to be. I do not think that will be a big moment. I think it'll be a minor moment. It'll be like a good weekly storytelling moment. Look, when Dean won and cashed in same night, that was great. That was like, oh my God, Carmella, the first woman, that'll be huge. Corbin, I think it'll just be, if he doesn't do it at Mania or Survivor Series, I think it'll be, or at the Rumble, I think it'll be just kind of par for the course. Kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. Did you by chance catch the latest Bring It to the Table this week?
I did not watch it this week.
Okay, it might be worth a watch because this show just gets more smarky as we go, and they think it's cool to pick on us wrestling fans, and it's just not nice. But what I did like about this show is they parodied themselves with JBL because they said the word structure during the Punjabi prison match 64 times.
Wow.
And they brought up, is there any language that's given to you on a script or a memo that you can and cannot use? And then Graves were like, we're our own men. We don't have any scripts. And and then they proceed to roll the videotape of 64 structure mentions inside the Punjabi prison, and JBL got heated, which I thought was pretty great. So it's a fun show for guys like me because I like seeing that they try to come on the inside of the wrestling fan spectrum, right? That they try to pick on us and they kind of put it in our face to say, oh, we're giving you what we're giving you, whether you like it or not. So it's an interesting show. I like the concept. It kind of feels like Pardon the Interruption or Around the Horn or something like that on ESPN. So I like the concept. Just it kind of insults me as a wrestling fan. So
we're used to that as wrestling fans, though.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and we're used to being insulted as wrestling fans, not by other people, but by professional wrestling itself.
Right?
Specifically, when Vincent K. McMahon. Yeah. Last bit of news: James Ellsworth, he'll be cleared next week. Suspension over. Think he's coming back to SmackDown Tuesday?
Only I don't think we'll see him until SummerSlam. I think he gets involved in the cash-in somehow.
Save it for SummerSlam, man. You don't waste the Ellsworth return on a SmackDown.
And that was actually a question I'm bringing to the table. Save it for the pay-per-view, talking about Nakamura and Cena. Are we giving away too much on free TV these days? Because, look, that was one of our gripes. We've talked about it on this very podcast and every Monday and Wednesday. So they brought out that viewpoint, and people were basically like, our cable bills aren't free. So why not do it? But and it seems that we have lost Glenn all of a sudden. So I'll wait for a moment to see if he returns, but send in a couple more questions if you like. Let's see.
No, I'm back.
There we go. There's the man right there. Found him. But I think that wraps it up just about for this week, guys. So, Glenn, where can they find you on the old interwebs?
I'm at Glenn Rubenstein. Chris is at knockdown_radio.
Yes, sir. And I guess Monday we will be back, or Raj, Glenn, and Matt will be back for the Raw podcast, and you'll see us again next Wednesday at 12 p.m. Glenn, anything else before we head off?
No, I think that's about it. I gotta, go and enjoy some high culture.
High culture, huh? There you go.
Oh, man. Cool. Well, thanks for everyone for tuning in. Until next time, folks, I'm Glenn Rubenstein on behalf of myself, Mr. Chris Callicutt. We'll see you back here on the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Take care.